All right, we are at the top of the first Fearless Action Hour. I've got Beck and Sarah here with me. So, ladies, we got 1 minute. Is there anything that you would like to talk about to support yourself with being fearless on purpose? I think most fearlessness is on purpose. You know, it's a process that you think about and you decide, okay, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and do this. I don't think that we um, very often just find ourselves. Well, I mean, there can be sometimes where we just find ourselves and are in a situation that's out of our comfort zone, but not necessarily one that we put ourselves in.
It's like you said, it starts with a decision, basically. Yeah, because that's what I was going through this past week. I made a decision that I was going to do something, and I've been on that path of doing it.
Yeah, super proud of you too. All right, we are at time. Okay, we got a quick minute at the bottom of the first hour. Beck, you said you had something you want to mastermind, so go.
Well, I was just thinking about our discussion about permission and like the idea of making a fearless decision that doesn't need permission. And for me, what was coming up is like the idea of, so you said something about someone, like me feeling like someone has more say over the decision, right? And then I'm looking for permission to do it my own way was really what was like coming to me when you were telling me, like, to share that. So like, how do we move through that to just say, like, this is what I need?
Yeah.
Is really like the thought that was coming. Like, well, how do you move through, like, what if somebody does have more say in a decision than you, and you need something different, or you want, even just wanting something different for yourself, and taking the fearless action to like own that selfish piece, to know that it's what I need, and that there is also probably other people that feel the same, but maybe they haven't been fearless enough to say it.
Yeah, the thing that comes up for me when you were talking is looking at selfish in a different, maybe with a different word, because I don't think it's selfish at all to want to meet your own needs. And we're responsible for our needs getting met, not other people. We might need other people to get our needs met, but we're responsible in asking them or engaging them in helping us meet our own needs. So if you have a need, it doesn't matter if it's somebody else's need or somebody else's need is opposite than yours. You're only responsible for yours, not for anyone else's. And so I get that there's, you know, in this situation and possibly in other situations that are set up similarly, you would want permission, but I think there's a way that you can meet your need and then state, I'm doing this because it meets this need. And if you would like to participate, great. If you don't, that's fine. And I would still like to participate in what you've decided to do to meet your need. You know, because I don't think that it has to be one or the other. Something that Rhonda says is my needs equal your needs equal my needs. So somebody else's needs aren't more important than ours. And our needs aren't necessarily more important than someone else's. But our needs, huh? Oh, but yeah, we've gone over, but yeah, so just keeping that in mind, that our needs are important and we can take action to meet them, and we don't need to necessarily just do it and say, you know, forget you, I'm going to meet my need, but we can explain, I have a need for this, so I'm going to do this, And this will satisfy or meet this need that I have. And explain why you're taking action that might be contradictory, if that's the right word, or opposite of someone else. We lost Beck. Okay, I'm gonna pause. All right, we are at the bottom of the second hour. We got 5 magic minutes. Beck, do you have anything that you would like to talk about around being fearless?
I don't think specifically I do.
Yeah, nothing about what we've already talked about, or
I don't think so.
No?
No. Do you have a question for me?
I'll think of one.
Okay. What do you
All
have a mastermind?
Yeah. So we've been talking about a couple different things today in our action hours and the pop-up hours that were beforehand. And the topic of permission came up. And we talked a little bit about that, but we also talked about our thought process. And I think that being fearless in our thought process is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Like they find themselves having this thought that may be really exciting or they're really passionate about, and then their fear comes in, they get overwhelmed, and they're like, no, I'm not going to think about that anymore. And it never moves beyond that initial thought. And sometimes, or I have found in my past that I can regret those decisions to let go of a thought before I really gave it any chance to grow or develop or go to a certain point of even knowing, is that really what I want? Is that really something I want to pursue? So that is my question to you. Are you able to allow your thoughts to play, explore, marinate before your fear comes in and shuts them down?
I think yes. I do that pretty well for myself, because I pretty much say what's on my mind. So a lot of the times, like, that's why I really think that speaking life to things is really powerful, because then we kind of get it out and we give it air to like really think it, instead of just being in our head. It's speaking to it so that it can, like, when you hear something out loud, it sinks in deeper. It then brings up more ideas around questioning, is it a good idea? What can happen this way? What if this? And I tend to tip to the way of, what if it works? Like, I tend to tip to the way of not like, what if this doesn't work? I tend to go towards, what if it does happen? Because I've trained myself to do that, right? Like I've known that was, you can go either way really fast, but the first thought is like, when it does work, then what? So then the initial thoughts are good, but I can definitely relate to the next part of that, where then it's like, oh, then the ideas have questions, and then my excitement around the questions, because I've trained myself to look at the more positive side of what if, that then when I say it out loud to other people, that already scares them.
Yeah. So that was another thing. That was the next question I wanted to ask you is, are you selective with who you share these thoughts with when they're in this infancy? Did that word come out right? Part of their process.
No, I am more now, but like I said, I tend to say things that are on my mind. So in the past, that was definitely something that, may very well have been like detrimental to my growth in the possibilities zone, because I didn't, give myself a filter to protect my dreams. I would just say things that came to me, and like I would be excited and people would shut it down. So now I know that that's important, and I'm working on really being selective of who I share what with. But that's definitely an awareness that I know that that wasn't the case before. And I also would, pull away from people a lot because they didn't have my vision. They didn't know my dream was something that I truly believed that could happen. And their fear would impact me going beyond the thoughts.
Yeah. Love that. That's what I wanted to hear. Because when our ideas are babies, we need to protect them, right? And that's why, with a baby, you like make people sanitize their hands, or you don't go out in public, where there's going to be large crowds, you do certain things to protect that baby because, it's vulnerable. Right. And when our ideas and our concepts and our dreams are babies, we need to be protective of them. Once they've grown up a little bit, we know them a little bit more. We can see that, what they can handle and what they can't. Then we can share it with more people because, our belief in them and our desire for them has grown to a point where if someone says, I don't think that's possible, we already know that it is. And so that comment just goes by, and it doesn't stop us. It doesn't have us questioning. It doesn't, break us, break us, or it's not, oh, your fear perks up and goes, oh, this person's speaking my language, let's have a conversation. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, being at the beginning, being protective of those new ideas, those new dreams that we have. And then when they're strong, then sharing them, then, masterminding with a larger audience, and reaching out for support or whatever it might be from someone else. So love that. All right. Hello, we are back with the third Fearless Action Hour at the top of the hour, mastermind time. And Beck, you mentioned that you were wanting to mastermind on something specific. Did that come back to you, or were you wanting to continue on what we were talking about before?
Yeah, it was something along the lines of what we were just sharing, what you were talking about with letting, what were we just talking about? Letting the ideas grow. And letting them, letting it, what was it? It wasn't that. It was stronger? Something.
I don't know. What? But yeah, I mean, that's the idea.
How did you like, how do you recommend, like, or what would you say about like someone that's like, well, I don't know, who to go to, like, right? Like, what if they're like, oh, how do you know the right people to share it with?
Yeah, I would have a couple people on my fearbuster team that they know this is what I'm going to use them for. And so you'll instruct them, hey, I'm going to have crazy ideas. I want, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to share them with you. And I want you, even if you don't think they are, I want you to tell me that they're great ideas. And I want you to believe in me and my ability. And then, when you have that idea and you call them up, say, okay, remember how I told you that I wanted you to hear my idea and tell me that it's great and that you believe in me. And they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, here's my idea.
I love that. I love that. And I remembered the other thought was about, you specifically said, when you share it, someone's like, that won't work. I don't know that I've ever had someone, right, like tell me my dreams would never work. But here's the thing about me is that I pay attention to body language and expression, and I see an eye roll, I see a disbelief in you, and that's what I read.
Right.
So like specifically my husband, right? Like when I say outlandish, crazy things and I'm just like, yeah, and I like say something, he's like, and I was like, you don't believe in me. And I'll call that out. And then like, it just ruminates of like that, the fear then just starts to build from an expression, or just like a sly, like way of someone breathing could literally help talk to my fear. And then it shifts from there. So expression was what I was going to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing that you want to protect those baby ideas from, because when they're just born within you, right? You're like, oh, that would be so awesome. Right. That's when we kind of want to keep it to ourselves. And then, but if we have a safe person, a safe place that we've have established for them, you know, almost like an incubator, right? Where we put the baby eggs before they hatch. You know, if we have created a place like that, then we know we can go there and they're safe. There's not going to be eye rolls. There's not going to be anything. And if the person isn't sure if they can do that face to face, make it a phone call, you know, and then they can be rolling their eyes all they want and you don't see it. Right? Because some people are just, you know, you can read them, even if they're trying to say, this is so awesome. I know you can do this. Like you've instructed them to do, you know, then you can still tell they're not sincere. So, you know, however you want to do it, text someone and then have the intention of reading the text with the best tone and intention, you know, as you can. You know, however you need to protect that idea, you know, do it. And don't be afraid to specifically ask for what you need. You know, there's all kinds of people who are willing to support you. They just don't know what that looks like to you, or they don't know what it is specifically that you're needing. So tell them, right?
Ask to receive. Yes.
Ask. So,
I love it.
You know, maybe have a conversation with your husband, say, okay, I'm really excited about this. I want to share it with you. And I need you in this moment to be 100% with me. That doesn't mean that this will actually happen, or I need you to do anything, or we're going to spend $1,000. I just need you to be super excited about my idea. You know what I mean?
I can instantly remember when I have done that I didn't get the response, you know, that I get sometimes. So really, like now being aware of, I can remember when I did that and it worked, and I thought that he would literally think I was crazy. That's why I said it. But then it actually ended up being a great idea. So love that. Writing that down as a reminder to actually like pretext when I'm going to like say something that I want to grow, that I believe in, that, you know, giving that landing strip for it to like actually happen, I think is really great.
Yeah. Because one thing that freaks out my husband is like what he's going to have to do. All right. We are at the bottom of the third Fearless Action Hour, and I've got LT in the house. So LT, do you got anything that you want to mastermind around being fearless?
So, I don't know. So like, I do know, I don't know how to phrase what I'm thinking, I guess.
All right. Well, just say it how it comes out and we'll figure it out.
So lately, more than normal, like I've always had an issue with self-confidence. Like I'm not a super confident person, even though it might appear that I am. And so like obviously it's summertime here, and where you are it's warm all the time, so you probably deal with it all the time. But like here for me, I'm like, I see all these people dressed super scandalous that are much larger than I am, and I'm like, how do they have the confidence to pull this off? And I'm like, nope, give me a baggier t-shirt. I need a bigger shirt. This isn't gonna work. Like I can't comprehend how some people have that level of confidence.
Yeah. I think it can be confidence. It can also be other things. I don't want to make stuff up, but it could be other things as well. But I think it comes down to your self-acceptance and your self-love of yourself, where you are fine wearing what you want to wear, and you don't care as much about what other people might be thinking about you, because you are wearing it. Because I think that a lot of the times our choices are like our clothing choices in this situation are determined by what we think others will think. And we have really no idea what other people think. And to tell you the truth, most people are not thinking about us, they're thinking about themselves. And
really, I get the don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah, but it's
that's
practice though, right? It's not like you can just all of a sudden you're like, I don't care about what other people think. Right?
And I'm very much like that in a lot of aspects. You know, like I've got the, oh, you're too loud, you're too obnoxious, you talk too much, you laugh too loud. You know, I've gotten all that crap, and that doesn't bother me. But I think
So
when
those
it
are
comes
things-
to,
yeah, those are things that you've accepted about yourself and you're okay with them. That's who you are. And if people don't like them, they can go somewhere else. Right? But
yeah,
how your body is right now and how it looks in particular specific types of clothing is not something you've accepted. So it might be some kind of body work, loving on your body type of stuff that will be, accepting your body where it is, seeing what it does do, what it does give. And then also measuring how much do you really want to wear these clothes? Like, is it the idea of it, or do you really want to dress scandalous?
no, it's more the idea of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, like probably up until, so COVID's been rough for me. Like I was still working all the time, but I still gained a crap load of weight. And meanwhile, my husband's been dropping weight. Like he's probably lost half what I've gained. And that just makes it that much more disgusting. And I've tried making changes. I'll be honest, I haven't given 100% to it. But I think what I really need to do, and this is something that I've thought about for a while and I just don't even know where to begin. I just need to I need to dive deeper and get rid of all the crap from the past, the stuff that you carry with you that you don't realize you do until all of a sudden it's in your face again for one reason or another.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the first step in that is, how do you want to go about it? Do you want to coach? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to join a class? Do you want to use some other kind of modality like EFT or therapy or, there's lots of different things that I don't even know. Right. So like, how do you want to first address it? And then looking into how are you going to find someone that does that? Then it's finding someone that does that. Then it's, you know what I mean? Once you have taken that first step, the next steps kind of line up in a row. Right? So that first step is, how do you want to address it? You know, it's there, you know, you want to, so how are you going to address it? Because how you have been isn't working. Right? So what's another way that you can address that past crap that keeps showing up and telling you you're not enough? Right?
And that's part of what I think what I struggle with right now, because honestly, and my husband always says I use this as a claim to shame or claim to fame, but it's really not. Like, I really have so much going on between working full time, 2 kids, having a part-time job, and going to school full time. Like, I feel like there's never enough time in the day. And I come home and I see a million things in the house that need to be done. You know, laundry needs to be done, dishes need to be done, whatever. Everybody needs to be fed, all the things, right? So I feel like I don't have space on my plate, you know? So I put myself to the back burner. And I've tried, sorry, my dogs are going nuts. I don't know if you can hear them. I've tried a couple different things to hold everybody else in my house accountable for things that I've let them pick. What can I hold you accountable for? And it's not gotten very far before it fails. And then the frustration rises, you know, and then I feel even more like, well, let's put another scoop on top of that plate. So I think that's a lot of my issue. I don't have the greatest time management skills when it comes to all the crap outside of work, which is, you know, my full-time job, which is a set schedule. So I can't procrastinate on that. I can't, I'll do it later.
Yeah. I have all kinds of ideas for you, but we're out of time. So let's talk again later. And we could totally mastermind. But I am going to stop. This is the last Fearless Action Hour. So we will end now and turn it on over to Build.